Homecoming 2012, the Rochester Falcons and the Lake Orion Dragons. We've got it all for you tonight here on Orion Neighborhood Television. Pregame is underwritten by Malash's Palace Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. The Malash family has been an integral part of this community since 1951. Located on M24 and Silver Bell Road, Malash's Palace Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, a proud supporter of Dragon Athletics and Orion Neighborhood Television. Good evening, everyone. It is Homecoming 2012. With Chris Riching, I'm Doug Corliss. Chris, it is Homecoming, and we talked about last week with a win over Troy. Coach Gary Griffith said after the game that they had game planned all week for the Dragons' speed. But it's one thing to game plan for it, it's another thing to defend it. If you were defending this offense, how do you defend this speed?
That's a good question. I to be honest, I don't know that you can. Get better personnel or guys that are quicker. I mean, that's really all you can do. And you're right, in game planning preparation for the week, it's very difficult as an opposition to put together a scout team that runs the Lake Orion offense like Lake Orion's offense does. And the issue becomes, well, how do you game plan for that? I mean, unless you get your guys quicker and faster over the course of the week, which I know is very difficult to do, it's very difficult to be able to stop. And, Lake Orion, ever since that first half against Oxford, has really gotten that offensive train rolling.
Rochester Falcons come in tonight. They were a kind of a disappointing team last year, but Coach Eric Vernon's got them rolling. They're 4-1. They're not only in the middle of the playoff hunt, they're in the middle of the OAA Red title hunt.
Yeah, I mean, they ended the season, you said disappointing at 4-5, but they ended that season last year with a three-game winning streak. Leading into today, 4-1, and they were kind of that sleeper pick in the OAA Red behind Lake Orion and Clarkston over the course in the preseason picks, and they're led by quarterback John Jarashewitz and wide receiver Manny Mendoza, who've done a nice job of moving the football down the field. And they've started to run the ball real well, and they're led by running back James Ward, that you're going to see a lot of tonight. And they had 300 yards plus rushing last week alone, so they've really gotten that offensive side of the football going. On the flip side of the football, they're also led by John Jarashewitz, who plays defensive backfield. He's got 4 interceptions on the year for them, and he's done a nice job. And they've got 2 twins. Last week, Lake Orion faced the Cherry Twins. This week it's the Shadiah Twins, who are all over the field defensively. So you're going to hear a lot of their names tonight for Rochester.
With the win tonight, Lake Orion sews up a playoff berth for the umpteenth consecutive year since 2001. Is it beneficial to a team to have a playoff spot sewn up after 6 weeks? Does it take some of the edge off the last 2 weeks?
I think it all depends on the situation you're in. I mean, Lake Orion, who's been a traditional power in the playoffs and beyond, I think it's a situation where they get that 6th win. If it happens to be tonight, that's great. But you know what? From this point on, they're working for those playoff points. They're working for that home field advantage. There's nothing better than having that home field advantage the first round, late October, second round, early November, and so forth. That means a lot. So they're pushing towards that. On the flip side, Rochester, a team that hasn't traditionally made the playoffs, you're just hoping to get 6 wins and get in. And then you let the cards fall where they may. So I think it really differs based on the program you're a part of and the tradition you've got behind you.
It is homecoming. The alumni comes back. We've got a great crowd coming in already into Dragon Stadium. The band's getting ready to take the field. We'll have all the action for you. Stay with us. Pregame was underwritten by Malash's Palace Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Located on M24 and Silver Bell Road, Malash Palace Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, a proud supporter of Dragon football and ONTV.
This quarter of play is brought to you by Jets Pizza, with 2 locations in the Orion area. Jets Pizza, proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television since 2009.
We're back just before kickoff. Homecoming 2012. The Rochester Falcons at 4-1 against the Lake Orion Dragons at 5-0. Chris, you got your keys to the game tonight.
I do. Number one, I think I'm going to stop Rochester's running game. And the reason I say that, they've been very good on the ground over the last 2 weeks, led by James Ward and Jay Shakir. They had over 300 yards last week versus Pontiac as a team. Ward alone had 167 yards and 3 touchdowns the week prior versus West Bloomfield. They've got a good-sized offensive line, but certainly not as big as Troy's was last week. And they've really improved their running game over the course of the last couple weeks. Game 3 of the season versus Clarkston. And obviously Clarkston's a good football team, but they ran for only 29 yards. So they've really improved their running game over the course of the last couple weeks. Number 2, this almost goes without saying, but offensively limit turnovers. Rochester's done a very good job this year of being opportunistic and making plays. I mentioned at the outset, John Durashowitz, their quarterbacks, also plays in their secondary. He's got 4 interceptions this year. Brad Bergseth, one of their linebackers, has got 2, and Demetrius McGee has got 2 as well. Their whole team has done a nice job of forcing turnovers and eliminating their opponents' opportunities to score. So Lake Orion, although they haven't put the ball up in the air a lot this year, when they do, they certainly have got to be patient and find and pick and choose their opportunities to throw the football. And thirdly, I think Rochester coming into this type of game, it's kind of a new territory for them in that, they haven't been 4-1 in quite some time as a program. And they've got going back to 1996 was the last time that they've beat Lake Orion. And so Lake Orion's got a 12-game winning streak against the Rochester varsity program. So the ability to maintain a focus in a big game like this for the Rochester Falcons is important on their end. And on the flip side for Lake Orion, it's homecoming. They've got to eliminate the outside distractions that they might have seen all week long, from the pep assemblies to the parade to anything else going on in and around homecoming. Got to focus on what's their job is here tonight, and that's winning a football game and going to 6-0 and clinching that playoff spot.
Yeah, the choir is going to sing the alma mater, and then we'll have the national anthem. Debbie Freistead leads the choir. just about ready for kickoff. Band comes off the field. The teams will soon take the field. We did not get the coin toss. We will remind you that our football schedule coming up. Next week, the Dragons are at Wisner Stadium to play the Pontiac Phoenix. We'll be back in 2 weeks for the annual game, Lake Orion Clarkston. And on the 19th, it'll be the OAA crossover at the white division team that Lake Orion will play. Dragons will receive. To remind you that the scoreboard is brought to you by Wally Edgar Chevrolet at 3805 Lapeer Road in Lake Orion, offering new and used vehicles to the Orion area since 1985. Wally Edgar Chevrolet, a proud supporter of ONTV and Dragon Athletics. And our replays again this season are brought to you by Jets Pizza, 2 convenient locations in the Orion area. Jets Pizza supporting ONTV since 2009. Number 2, Miles Dale is teeing the ball up to kick off. Dragons have 4 men deep: Nick Booker, Jacob Miller, Chris Lee, and I'm trying to see who number 12, Kyle Bell, all back deep for the Dragons. Referee blows the whistle, and we're underway. End-over-end kick coming down to the 5-yard line. Kyle Bell takes it on, gives it on the star play, and looked like Nick Booker, no, it wasn't. Chris Lee took the kick up to the 27-yard line, where the Dragons will start out 1st and 10.
2 weeks ago, the Dragons started that formation off the kickoff, and Nick Booker was able to take it down the left sideline for a 95-plus yard touchdown run, or kick return, I should say. And they went back to that formation, gave it to the first back through, Chris Lee this time, and Lake Orion starts off with pretty good field position.
Derek Delora leads them out. They start out in a bunch formation. Chaz Miller, Jacob Miller, and Corey Esther all bunched to the right, or to the left. And Zach Arnold gets a handoff. He's around the corner, up over the 35 and up to the 37-yard line. Coach Bell told me before the game that this will probably be the best defense that they'll face all season. Rochester's played very, very well on defense.
Yeah, they have. They've only given up 12.8 points a game in the 5 games that they've played to this point in time.
2nd and 1 for the Dragons. They go to the double wide, double slot look. Jacob Miller, the lone setback. Esther in motion. Jacob Miller gets up over close to the 40-yard line. He's got enough for the first down.
There's the speed, the first play we talked about, and there's the power underneath. And when I say power, Jacob Miller's got some speed too. Don't get me wrong, but traditionally Jacob's that interior guy running between the tackles, and guys like Chris Lee and Corey Esther and so forth are running on the outside on the perimeter.
Now they go to a bunch right, 3 to the right side. Corey Esther comes in motion, takes the ball on the toss back. He's up over the 45 to the 46-yard line. Gain of 6. That jet sweep has just been so effective for them. If they can get the edge sealed, there's usually been nothing but green grass ahead of them.
And you've got a big, and they're in that bunch formation out here. You got guys like 6'7" Chaz Miller. You've got wing backs like Zach Arnold that are being very physical at the point of attack.
Arnold comes in motion, handoff to Corey Esther inside, fighting for yardage. He's up close to midfield and dropped just short of the first down. So it'll be 3rd down and about a half yard. Brought down on the play, number 67, Kyle Hillstead in on the tackle for Rochester. And they're calling it 1st down Lake Orion. Just over midfield. Nose of the ball just into Rochester territory. Full house backfield. that looked like Jordan Waymer on the run, and he was stacked up and dropped. Number 55, Ryan Matinka, in on the stop. Gain of maybe a half yard. Brings up 2nd and 9.
Dragons come off of last week's game against Troy, having rushed for 357 yards, and they've put the ball on the ground, obviously ran the ball every single play this point in this drive.
Jordan Waymer again on the run. He spins forward for about 5. Number 44, Brad Berkseth, in on the tackle.
Nothing fancy up front, just a little pull from the backside guard, and Waymer keeps his feet driving and churning and spinning and securing the ball and take a nice gain of 5 yards.
Yeah, number 31, Jacob White, hit him early, and Jordan just kept his legs churning. 3rd down and 5. Delora on a rollout. He's going deep and just overthrows Jeremy King. He got a hand on it and let him just a little too far. So that'll bring up 4th. They're calling it 5. It looks like about 4.5. Yeah, you talked about Jacob Miller. He doesn't, you look at, you can usually tell a speed back. And Jacob Miller just doesn't look like a speed back until you get him in open space. Dragons going forward on 4th and 5. Ball on the 45. 9:12 left. Timeout being called. And Lake Orion's calling timeout. I think Coach Bell just wanted to see what kind of look Rochester was going to give him.
You know, that too, and I think personnel-wise, he had that full house backfield in there at the time, and you know, it's a big early decision. You know, do you play the field position game and punt and bury Rochester deep, or do you take a chance to just over midfield and try to set the tone early?
Well, they didn't bring the punt team out, so we have to assume that they're going to go for it. Jordan Waymer, Jacob Miller, and number 29, Dom Giovazano, in the backfield. Jeremy King bunched tight on the left, Chaz Miller tight on the right. Delora under center. Gives first down, Lake Orion. That was Jordan Waymer on the run. Got a good outside block, kept his legs moving, brought down by number 55, Ryan Matinka.
Yeah. The line of scrimmage was the 44-yard line. You just see a wall of green set this edge here. No penetration by a white shirt except backside, which isn't a factor, and Waymer does a nice job of knowing where the sticks are for the first down.
Number 56, Shane Shadea, also in on the tackle for the Falcons. So 1st and 10 for the Dragons from the 36. Straight ahead, Jacob Miller, and he's met and dropped. Number 56, Shane Shadea, and number 71, Schwan Shadea in on the stop.
Coach Vernon said those two kids could have been up as freshmen. They're that good. He just had a big senior class that particular season, but those kids can play both sides of the football and play very well.
They're both juniors. They'll be back next year. Rochester goes to a 3-4 look. Delora back to throw. Throws, got Jeremy King, and he's down on the 22-yard line. Good patience for Jeremy King to sit and wait for the ball to come to him.
Yep, simple rollout by Delora, and Esther goes in motion, provides 2 fakes, throws a nice curl route. I guess there was pressure late. He got hit just as he's about to release, but stayed poised enough to complete a nice football for a big first down.
Jack Linkletter, Nick Sally, great work by the offensive line. Jacob Miller bounces it outside. He's inside the 20, down to about the 16-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd and short. Ball's marked on the 16. That'll bring up a 2nd and 3 for the Dragons. 8 minutes left here in the first quarter, no score. Dragons go to the double wide, double slot look. Zach Arnold in motion. And handoff goes up the middle to Jacob Miller. He's got a... Are they giving him the first down? No, they're marking him short of the first down.
Arnold comes in motion. Yaglinski, number 53, pulls, and Miller runs the ball right behind that block, and he's got enough body lean, but he comes up just a yard short.
Jacob White on the stop for Rochester. So that brings up 3rd and 1. Ball's on the 14. Full house backfield. DeLora to Miller, first down Dragons. Nothing fancy about that. That was the power game.
Nothing fancy, but effective. I mean, that's the key. I mean, you see Yaglinski pull again, and you've got number 25, Giovinazzo, leading it through the hole as well, and Miller, that power runner, and follows his lead blockers for that first down.
Number 1, Manny Mendoza, coming up from his safety spot for the Falcons to make the tackle. Number 24, Chris Lee on the carry. He pulls in, and he's in for the touchdown. Wow. Lake Orion Dragons. Wow.
You want to teach a young running back how to run the ball? That's how you do it. Wow.
Kept the legs turning, and Chris Lee's not a big guy, but he sure played big on that one. Jeremy King in for the point after. Nick Booker will hold. Number 15, Connor Grant, will be the long snapper. Snap is back, kick is up, and the kick is good. 7:04 left here in the first. Dragons lead 7-0. A 73-yard, 13-play drive for the touchdown.
Following the lead block of Jacob Miller. And look at them, lower the shoulder, keep the legs churning, and you know, if you're not, as a defender, if you're not sitting in front of that body and you're trying to pull him from the side, you know, a guy running the ball like that, you're just not going to stop him. And Chris Lee did a heck of a job wanting that touchdown. He certainly deserved that one.
He just dragged Jacob White and Manny Mendoza into the end zone with him. Before the kickoff, we will remind you, DVD copies can be purchased by calling ONTV at 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. For only $10, you can get a copy of not only this game, but any game or program in our broadcast vault. Ball comes down, and he took it with a foot in the end zone, and the referee started the clock. That was number 5, Jesse Farnsworth, on the kick return. Brings it up over the 20 to the Rochester 22, where the Falcons will start out 1st and 10. Looks like Manny Mendoza starting at quarterback. Drops the ball, picks it up, runs. I'm sorry, that's number 10, John Dworshitz. I just saw the 1 in there. And he brings it up over the 30 to the 33-yard line and has a first down.
Yeah, he looks up, Dworshitz looks up for a split second, and at his swing back, his slot running the swing, he doesn't secure the ball first. Ended up working out well for them because the pressure was coming on the outside. There was nobody up the middle, and he was able to pick up the ball and scamper for about 9 yards.
Number 21, Brandon Clements, on the tackle for the Dragons. 1st and 10 for the Falcons. Dworshitz in the shotgun. Similar look to Lake Orion. Toss out to number 9, Demetrius McGee. He gets maybe a yard. And
heck of an open field tackle by number 42, Derek Williams.
So that brings up 2nd and 8. Ball's located on the 35-yard line.
The first 2 times they've come out in that spread formation and looked towards that slot receiver to the left side.
Manny Mendoza split wide to the right. Falcons going with like a triple I formation. 3 backs behind Dworshitz. And he's going to roll. looking for Mendoza and overthrows it, picked off. Great job by number 21, Brandon Clements. The pass was overthrown. Brandon Clements tipped it up in the air, and as he was going down, brought it in.
Mendoza slips on his cut. They come out of that triple I formation in the backfield, and Mendoza slips on his cut, and it ends up being thrown behind Mendoza. Clements does a heck of a job of keeping that ball active and in the air, and as he's lying on his back, it falls in his hands for a big-time interception.
Dragons take over on the 46-yard line, 1st and 10. Trips to the right. DeLaura back to throw. He's looking, going deep. Got Corey Esther, breaks one tackle, gets down inside the 10.
That's simply a situation when you get momentum on your side by a big-time interception by Clements. You go to a situation where you go 4 wides and you run 4 verticals down the field, and hopefully the 2 guys down the middle of the slots can run right up the seams. Corey Esther runs right up the right seam. DeLaura throws a nice ball to Esther right down the middle. Lake Orion gets the ball inside the 10-yard line.
1st and 10 for the Dragons, ball on the 8. Inside handoff to Zach Arnold, and he's dumped by number 56, Shane Shadea, after a gain of maybe 1. So it's 2nd and goal from the 7. And that's part of that quick strike Dragon offense again. Get the ball after turnover, get a lot of positive yardage. 2nd down. Corey Esther on the sweep, cuts it inside, touchdown Lake Orion Dragons.
Jeremy King with a nice block on the edge. Jacob Miller did a nice job just outside the goal line, keeps his hands off so he doesn't get a block in the back, allows Corey to get in for the touchdown.
Well, there we go with the field position again. 46 yards, 3 plays.
That's the Lake Orion offense that we've known.
Jeremy King in for the extra point, little high snap. Gets a kick up, and they're calling the kick no good, wide left. So with 4:50 left here in the 1st quarter, the homecoming fireworks are going already. Dragons up 13-0. We got a lot of promos we'd like to read, but there's so much action going on here, we haven't had time. Jeremy King has the ball teed up on the 40, whistle blows, puts a foot into it. Kind of a wobbly kick, hits on the 10 and goes out of bounds, so Rochester will take over. 1st and 10. So Rochester takes over, 1st and 10 on the 35-yard line. It's a procedure call against the Dragons, first penalty of the night. And I'm sure Coach Vernon's having a little talk to him, say, hold on to the football.
Yeah, Mendoza's a guy we said at the outset is the guy they go to. He's 6'3", 200, great size and athletic ability. And, that's the type of guy you want to find that matchup with and get him the football.
Number 6, James Ward's the tailback. Hand to Ward going around the left end. Breaks a couple tackles, and he's got a 1st down, brought down by number 21, Brandon Clements.
Yeah, Ward's the running back that we talked about, that he can really scoot. And number 15, Peter Doucette comes in motion and kind of helps block on the outside. Ward cuts back inside, finds a little seam, and Connor Grant does a nice job of coming off his block. Unfortunately, after Ward had gotten that 1st down.
Offensive line put a hat in a hat, and everything else just kind of got washed down to give him the room. 1st and 10. Derashowitz in that little pistol formation with the running back behind him. Ward gets the carry. He's over midfield into Dragon territory, fumbled the ball, and the Dragons have it. Wow. Dragons take over on their own 47-yard line.
Little handoff to Ward, who had a nice run the last play. Got a nice run here, and just before Derek Williams strips it out of his hands, and Nick Booker was the one who fell on it. Lake Orion takes over.
And Coach Vernon's got to be having a fit because he knew that, number one, he's got to play Lake Orion. He's trying to keep playoff hopes alive, and this is not his idea of how to start this evening.
You can't have these types of turnovers against a good Lake Orion team like this.
Almost a double wing formation. Toss back to Zach Arnold. He's cutting it outside, and he's going to be brought down. Manny Mendoza hit him first and just held on for a little help from his friends, but we also have a flag on the play. So we'll check out the flags. Referee Todd Kelly will give us a call. It was and they're going to call holding against Lake Orion, or illegal block against Lake Orion. So that'll back the Dragons up. They'll repeat first down. How many yards is he walking off there? Okay, that's
from the spot of the foul.
Spot foul. Takes it back to the Lake Orion 36-yard line. Brings up 1st and 22 from the 36. Just over 4 minutes left here in the first. Coach Bell and Coach Darren Tooley signaling the plays in. Only one of them's for real, we hope. Jacob Miller, the tailback, trips to the right. Jacob Miller gets a handoff and gets some of the penalty yardage back up to the 40, just shy of the 45-yard line.
They run a little draw to Jacob Miller, and he does a nice job with that open hand, that right hand of giving a stiff arm right there to Shane Shadaya, and then lowering his shoulder and running over Manny Mendoza. And you're right, to get back to about 9 of that back.
Yeah, he took Manny Mendoza on head up, and Jacob Miller won that battle. So 2nd down and 13 from the 45.
Jacob had 142 yards rushing last week. And only 16 carries against Troy.
Trips to the right. Chaz Miller, the only one receiver split left. Delora, intercepted. Intercepted by number 55, Ryan Matinka. And he just got, I don't think Derek Delora ever saw him.
No, he's going to see film tomorrow, and he's going to see that Zach Arnold is wide open on a curl route in the slot. And Zach Arnold's the interior slot receiver. Corey Esther does a little wheel, swing out of the backfield, and Zach looks like he's wide open, just underthrown a little bit, and Jeremy King was too deep, and Dissinger steps up inside and intercepts the football.
The way that ball came out, I don't know if it was tipped or just slipped out of his hands as he let it go. Rochester takes over 1st and 10. Derashowitz is the quarterback. Dropped the pass, throws, incomplete. That was intended for, I think, number 1, Manny Mendoza, and he had Brandon Clements hanging all over him like a cheap suit.
Little play action fake there right in the middle, and plenty of time for Derashowitz to throw, and James Ward comes over on the crossing route in the middle, and you're right, there was 2 defenders, Lake Orion defenders around him. Brings up 2nd and 10.
Connor Grant did a great job getting his hand in. So 2nd and 10. Droshowitz on the give to Ward. He's up almost to the 40-yard line, call it the 41.
As we talked about at the beginning, too, the keys to the game is Lake Orion's got to protect the football. And I mean, we've said Rochester's been very opportunistic this year in intercepting the football and forcing turnovers. Here you see the little dive play. Now they're just stepping to the left, and Ward does a nice job cutting back and lowering his shoulder as well. And you see a sea of green jerseys hold Ward for a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, number 15, Peter Doucette, is in there, and he's kind of just to take the first man in. So that'll bring up 3rd and 8 from the 41. Drops back. He's going to throw it. He's hit as he throws. Caught by Mendoza at the 30-yard line, and he'll have a first down.
Yeah, Mendoza, a really nice target to throw to. Again, when we said 6'3", 200 pounds, very versatile, very athletic. They just roll out to the right side, little sprint out, and Droshowitz has 3 wide receivers at 3 different levels, 1 deep, 1 intermediate, and 1 short. And Mendoza's the intermediate guy right over the middle for a nice big game for the Falcons.
Yeah, Derek Williams was there, but just a hair too late. So brings up 1st and 10 from the 30. 2 backs in the backfield. We have a different quarterback in there. I know, Droshowitz is in. That was number 40 in at a fullback spot. Ward hurdles the pile, gets maybe 4. That'll bring up 2nd down. I was trying to see who was in on the tackle here.
Simple isolation with Doucette leading, with the fullback number 40 leading, and then Ward just jumping up and over. And
Derek Williams in on the tackle. Brandon Clemens in on the tackle. So it's 2nd down and 7. Full house, the triple I. Droshowitz hands to Ward. He's in the 2nd level and dropped by Nick Vogelmeyer in on the tackle. And who's on the bottom? 15, Connor Grant. And so it's going to bring up a 3rd and 1 from the 21-yard line. 1:30 left here in the first quarter. Dragons up 13-0. Droshowitz gets the play.
Ward came off the field on this 3rd and short situation. They got a little power backs in the backfield. While Doucette's in the backfield, sitting behind Droshowitz. I'm sorry, that's not.
That's number
45.
45. That's Lucas Dischinger. And he's over the 20. He's got a first down for Rochester. Handoff, just simple dive. Nick White got in there as he crossed the line, and Dischinger just kind of took Nick with him. So 1st and 10 from the 19. Dischinger is the fullback. Droshowitz on the handoff, and he's met and stood up by number 30, Brennan Rourke. Stood him up and took him sideways. Brennan Rourke comes in.
Yep, he did a nice job of getting off his block and getting to number 45, Dischinger.
15 seconds left here in the first. Yeah, they'll probably get the play off. Droshowitz throws to the end zone. Touchdown. Threw it right over Nick Booker and number 3, Charlie Heighton. He had a spot to throw it into, and he hit him.
They just Mendoza just runs the go route, and Highland's sitting on top as a defender, and Mendoza makes a heck of a catch. I mean, you can't that's pretty darn good coverage. Highland didn't quite see the football, had his hands extended to try to knock it down, but Mendoza makes a very athletic and a big-time catch and puts Rochester on the board.
Miles Dale in for the extra point. Number 5, Jesse Farnsworth is the holder. Kick is up, and the kick is good. 2 seconds left in the first quarter. Lake Orion 13, Rochester 7. Jacob Miller, Chris Leeds, Nick Booker, and Kyle Bell all back deep. We can expect that star return again. Little pooch kick off to the left side and goes out of bounds. That'll be a procedure call. Dragons take over 1st and 10 from the 35.
That situation there, Lake Orion turns the football over on the Delora interception, and again, Rochester's got the short field to work with, and they convert. And that's what Rochester's done this year, is take advantage of turnovers that they've created and turn them into points. And while they haven't scored a ton of points, they come into the game averaging just over 20 points a game. You know what? They've done a nice job of taking advantage of a key and opportune times. And for Rochester to get back in the game, being down 13-0 early in the first quarter, that was a big drive for them.
Dragons take over 1st and 10 on 35. They go to the double wide, double slot. Jacob Miller lone back in the backfield. Zach Arnold comes in motion. Jacob Miller gets a handoff up the middle. He's over the 40 to about the 42-yard line. Positive yardage on 1st down. We had a quick shot of a beautiful full moon tonight. And that's the end of the first quarter. Lake Orion 13, Rochester 7. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
This quarter of play was brought to you by Jets Pizza, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics since 2009. This quarter of play was underwritten by CJ's Lakeside Grill at 21 West Flint Street in downtown Lake Orion. Dine in or carry out. CJ's Lakeside Grill since 1997, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics.
Okay, back at the start of the second quarter, Lake Orion up 13-7 over the Rochester Falcons. Dragons have the ball, 2nd down and 2 from their own 43-yard line. Delora under center. Corey Esther comes in motion. Handoff up the middle. Jacob Miller's got a 1st down up to midfield. And again, that's the power running game. Jacob Miller's been doing it since he was a sophomore, coming in, getting a positive yardage, and as you said, running forward.
I don't know that I've ever seen Jacob Miller being tackled going backwards. He's always falling forward, and that's low center of gravity, keeping your legs moving, and again, just what you want to see in a good quality running back.
Bunch formation. Ball's on the ground. Delora falls on it. It'll bring up 2nd down. Maybe a 2-yard loss.
Trying to run that jet sweep there, and the timing is get it secured and then get the ball to the jet back, sweep back, and unfortunately Derek bobbled that one, put it on the ground, but fortunately for the Dragons, he recovered.
Loss of 2 brings up 2nd and 12. Double wide, double slot look. Zach Arnold goes in motion. Miller up the middle. He gets the fumble yardage back and maybe back to the original line of scrimmage. So that'll bring up 3rd down. 3rd and 10 for the Dragons, just underway here in the second.
Situation now, 3rd and 10 at midfield, second quarter. You haven't seen the Dragons in a lot of 3rd and long situations this year. Be interesting to see how they come out and what they run here.
Delora, Zach Arnold goes in motion. Delora back to throw. Throwing deep. He's got Corey Esther, and he tripped over the 15-yard line. Otherwise, he'd have been in the end zone. He was so wide open. Yeah. It's kind of like where is everybody? I'm expecting some coverage, and he didn't get any.
Nice play action fake to Miller. Nice protection up front. And yeah, Corey Yester just runs right down the seam and utilizes that speed. I don't know where this safety was, Mendoza was, but Corey comes clean and yeah, who made the tackle? The 15-yard line, you said?
I don't know. 1st and 10 for the Dragons. Jacob Miller up the middle. Tripped up number 45, Luke Dischinger. And who's been over there? Number 45. Oh, that was Luke Dischinger. I'm going to call his name twice. So that brings up 2nd and 5 from the 8. Dragons can get a first down without scoring. Full house backfield for the Dragons. Jacob Miller on the carry inside the 5 down to the 3. Brings up 3rd down.
Chaz Miller on the edge. It's a nice job of securing. Chris Lee blocks out. Giovinazzo blocks Mendoza. Not Mendoza, that's number 31, Jacob White. And Miller just follows his green guys to near the first down. It looks like they're going to come in and measure.
Number 79, Matt Mitchell, helped Chaz Miller on the edge block, and then he broke off and he went into the end zone looking for someone else to block. 3rd and a few chain links. Full house backfield. Miller gets the call. He's got a first down, and he's down inside the 1. So it's going to be 1st and goal from the 1. They're spotting it. The way the line judge came in, he kind of straddled the goal line coming in. But it's inside the 1. Jacob Miller in, touchdown Lake Orion Dragons.
Answer a score with a score.
65 yards, 9 plays. Jacob Miller, 1-yard touchdown run. Dragons will probably go for 2 to make it a 14-point lead. Remember, they missed the extra point on their last touchdown. Here's the touchdown.
Just a simple power play. You got your 2 lead backs, Giovinazzo and Waymer, leading up, and again, Miller following.
DeLaura to throw. Chaz Miller, conversion's good.
Can't forget about number 20.
You know, I was watching on the touchdown run, and the 2 lead blockers came in, but who was on the bottom of the pile but the 6'7" number 20?
Yep. And they lull you into utilizing him, and all of a sudden, he sneaks out in the open. He does such a great job on the perimeter blocking, whether he's split out wide or tight. And he doesn't step down this time and down block. He releases upfield, and it's, again, very hard to miss a 6'7" receiver.
8:54 left to go here in the 2nd quarter. Dragons now increase their lead to 21-7.
If you are a fan of sports talk and just plain zaniness, then tune in Between Terraminas, a different kind of sports talk show. New episodes air live Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. right here on Public Access Comcast Channel 10, AT&T UVerse Channel 99. Also check out the ONTV program guide at orionontv.org for other air times that best fit your viewing schedule.
Jeremy King kicks off down to the 1. Picked up by, looked like number 1, Manny Mendoza. He brings it out over the 20 to the 21-yard line. I'm sorry, that was number 5, Jesse Farnsworth on the kick return. We didn't bring the binoculars tonight, did we?
Again, I thought you had that eagle eye. We didn't need them.
So Rochester takes over on their own 22-yard line, 1st and 10. Yeah, we've seen 2 long drives, long for the Dragons tonight, over 5 plays. Dershowitz in that little pistol formation. Drops the throw. He's going over the middle, picked off. Nick Booker, and he might take this in. 10-5. What a touchdown, Lake Orion Dragons. I'm trying to see where they mark the interception return at.
I don't know who Derashowicz was throwing to there, because Mendoza was his intended target, but Nick Booker sat high, came down from his half-field safety position, and stepped right in and barely was touched until he got inside the 5-yard line.
Jeremy King in for the extra point. I think the Dragons are short a player. And they're going to kick it anyhow. Number 47 coming in for the Dragons late. And now number 47 coming out late. And I think we're going to have a delay of game penalty against the Dragons. Miscommunication, and in a situation like this, a substitution foul against the Dragons. In this situation, everybody wants to celebrate. So you're out there celebrating with the guy that just scored and everybody on the field. It's a big thing. It's an interception return. And you got to remember, hey, I'm in on the extra point team. And you have to be aware that when that happens, get out and get in your position. So Dragons will back up 5 and repeat the point try. Ball is down, kick is up, and the kick is good. 8:36 left here in the second. Dragons are up 28-7.
Derashowitz has, on the interception, he has some good protection, not much of a Lake Orion pass rush, but he sails the ball, and Booker, he was either trying to hit Mendoza on the crossing route or the deep post and trying to hit Demetrius McGee. You know, bottom line, Booker was on top of the crossing route of Mendoza. We had a defender on the deep post, and that ball just sailed over Mendoza's head and right into Booker's hands, and he took it for what did it end up being, 40 some odd yards?
Yeah, it looked like 44 yards, we'll call it. So Jeremy King will kick off.
You know, 3 turnovers by Rochester here in this first half, this first 15 minutes of the game, and they're already down 3 scores.
Jesse Farnsworth deep for the Falcons. High end over end kick coming down to the 1. And it's taken, and he's dropped. Attempt to see who the ball carrier was.
Yeah, that's a backbreaker too. You just if you're Rochester, you just took it to 13-7, and then Lake Orion comes back, gets the ball, drives, answers that score with a score, and then the next possession, the next play, you know, interception return for a touchdown, and just like that, instead of being down 6, you're down 21.
That was Jesse Farnsworth on the return. Rochester takes over 1st and 10 from their 16-yard line. Ward still back in the backfield. He gets the ball. He's up over the 20 and out to the 25-yard line. Good hard run by Ward.
That was Lucas Dissinger, and I'm wondering. We saw Ward leave the field late in the first quarter. I'm wondering if he's hurt, because he hasn't been back in since late in the first, and Dissinger's been getting the carries, number 45. So Interesting development on the Rochester sideline if he is hurt, because he's been their go-to back over the course of the last couple weeks.
Yeah, he's back in now. Ward just came back in. So it's 2nd and 1, they're calling it. Just shy of the 26-yard line. Mendoza comes out, splits wide to the left. Ward's the tailback. It's a triple I look again for the Falcons. Up back gets it, and he's brought down. He's got the first down, and that was number 40, Tyler Carton, on the carry for the first down. Brought down by the middle of the Dragon line. So 1st and 10 from the 27, 8:10 left here in the second quarter. Mendoza comes out and splits to the right. Triple I look in the backfield. Handoff to Ward. He's over the 30, up to about the 32-yard line. You know, that is their version of the Lake Orion full house. They get their 3 backs in there, and you get 2 lead blockers for, or you can give it to the up back.
The up back just the up backs just split, and then Ward kind of slithers his way up through the middle for about 5.
Travis Hill on the stop for the Dragons. Brings up 2nd and 5. Mendoza comes out, splits wide to the left. I formation in the backfield. Caturo was on a wing left, now comes over to a wing right. Ward on the carry. He's got a first down over the 40-yard line. He just got a little crease.
Yeah, he certainly makes a difference for the Falcons, and he just, you're right, he doesn't need much of a crease, but he finds a crease, and he's fairly slight, but he runs the ball hard, and a big first down for the Falcons. And those are the types of things they're going to need to get back in this game. Control the football, move the football, and get back in this game just before half.
Nick Vogelmeyer and Nick Booker on the stop for the Dragons. Triple I formation. Ward gets the carry, and he's hit and dropped. Number 55, Trenton Elkins, hit him first. And it looked like number 30, Brennan Rourke, cleaned him up.
Trenton comes from his tackle position, yes, and just fights off his block, is able to get Ward in the backfield, and you're right. And then you see 3 or 4 Lake Orion defenders clean up after, you're right.
Ward sweeping left and broke the first tackle, didn't get away from Connor Grant, and dropped after about a 3-yard gain. Ball on the Rochester 45. It'll bring up 3rd down and 6. Ward coming out, and also number 40, Tyler Carton, coming out. Number 9, Demetrius McGee, splits wide right, and Manny Mendoza in a slot right. Single back in the backfield. Caturo dancing around back there. Throw over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Mendoza, and he never even turned around to look for it.
Yeah, he just ran a quick slant over the middle, and Derashowitz just had the time, but just threw it behind him. He had nice protection and a little quick play action fake. Has the time, but you know what? Had he thrown it in front of him, it might have been a pick.
Might have been another pick. There were nothing but green shirts all over the place. Back in punt formation. Derashowitz is the punter. Ball hits at the 30, takes a Lake Orion bounce, and is downed at the 32-yard line. That's the first punt of the night by either team. So Dragons take over, 1st and 10 from their own 32. There's our nice bright full moon tonight.
We need that now in that press box here. It's getting a little dark here. Can we illuminate some of that moonlight over here?
There's an app for that. There's an
app for everything.
There's an app for everything. Lights are taking effect a little earlier in the evening now. DeLaura to Miller up the middle. He's up over the 35-yard line. Gain of about 3, we'll call it. Brings up 2nd and 7. Number 56, Shane Shadaya, on the tackle for Rochester. Second and 6. Ball was handed to Corey Esther on the sweep. He dropped it and fell on it. Actually, it was great awareness for Corey Esther to realize he's not going to go anywhere and just fall on the ball.
I don't know if it was a bad handoff or Corey tries to grab it, but there was a wall on this side of the field, and he gets that ball cleanly and gets that edge. He's got a chance to make something with it.
Number 60, Zach Libby, got the easiest tackle stat he'll ever get. 3rd and 12, DeLaura back to throw, looks, throws deep, got Jeremy King, and he dropped it.
What?
He had Derashowitz hanging all over him, and he turned late and saw the ball late.
He runs a nice double move from his flanker spot down here, got the time, and DeLaura puts the ball on him perfectly, so as he turns, all right, it's right in his hands. I can't tell if Derashowitz ended up getting a hand in there or not, but that's a heck of a ball, and it was really a good route, and he threw it where only one guy could get it. Unfortunately, it was dropped, and Lake Orion's got a punt now for the first time.
Number 9, Demetrius McGee, back for the Falcons. Brad Schanzer, not a real good punt, but gets a great Lake Orion bounce. Inside the 30, down to the 26-yard line, where Rochester will take over 1st and 10. Demetrius McGee split wide to the left, Mendoza split right. A little pistol formation. Derashowitz back to throw, got pressure. He's hit, gets out of it, throws on the run, and gets it to number 15, Julian Cataro. And what a job getting away from the rush of number 50, Bradley Check. He had him in his grasp.
Check's untouched on the top, and Derashowitz sits and takes that blow, and you thought for a split second that's a clean quarterback sack, and Derashowitz just does a nice job of eluding it and finding an open receiver downfield.
Run out by Brandon Clements, but not after a 1st down. Ward on the run right up the middle. He's got a gain of about 5. So Rochester putting something together here late in the 2nd quarter. That'll bring up 2nd down. They're going to give him 3, bring up 2nd and 7 from the Lake Orion 46. Ward's the tailback. Derashowitz in that pistol. Patero in motion. Hands to Ward. Dodges, makes a first man miss, and still gets over the 45 down to the 44. And a late flag thrown in the Rochester backfield. Personal foul against the Dragons.
We talked about this just a little bit last week, and there's been inordinate number of personal foul calls on the Dragons this year, and that's a situation where you gotta keep. I don't know what happened down there, but you gotta do a job and keep your temper and go out and play the next play. Maybe you got beat that one particular play, but you got to be able to walk away from it and win your battle the next time out.
It looked like one of the Rochester players was kind of holding one of the Dragon linemen down. Maybe he didn't like it, but you're right. You got to keep your composure. So it's a 1st down. Ball's located just inside the 30 on the 29-yard line. Dishinger back to being the lone setback. Mendoza split left. And Dishinger gets the call, and he's dropped for a loss. Name him Nick White, Number 30, Brendan Rourke in on the tackle.
Not a traditional fullback. Number 15 is Doucette. He just finds his way, and he's able to 52 kicks out. Doucette leads up the hole, but Dragons defense blew up those blocks, and forced a loss of 1.
Derek Williams hit him first. Distanger again on the run. He's around the right end and got a gain of about 7 or 8 yards.
That time they kind of went to a little quick tempo and got to the line of scrimmage. I don't think Lake Orion was quite ready to get set, and they got a nice chunk of about 8 back.
Rochester's taking a timeout. Hand to Ward. He's got a first down and a lot more. He's inside the 15 down to almost the 11, it looks like. They're going to call it the 12.
He's a nice back, Ward. You know, Lake Orion hasn't gotten a clean hit on him all night. He's just very elusive, and again, he's also got a low center of gravity, and he's able to sidestep defenders and gain nice yards.
Ward gets the handoff. He's trapped this time, and down he goes. Nick White, first one to hit him.
Of course, as soon as I say that, what happens? 3 Dragons are right in his face, and he gets back to the original line of scrimmage.
Ethan Groh in to hit him. We haven't called Ethan Groh's name much tonight, and he made up for it on that one. So 2nd and 10 from the 12. Under a minute left here in the second quarter. Groshowitz under center. Play fake to Ward. He's got pressure. Derek Williams has got him, and down he goes.
That's a big time play for the Dragons. Backside pressure from Derek Williams, takes the ball from the 12-yard line all the way back to the 22-yard line. And number 55, Orion Matinka, just couldn't withstand that Derek Williams pressure, and that's a big play for the Dragons. It's a big play for the Falcons too, because it backs them up a little bit more, and the Falcons trying to get some points out of this drive. They've had a nice drive just before the half, and they really need some points before the half to give them a little bit of momentum to going into the half. But that's a big time play by Derek Williams.
Yeah, Groshowitz in the shotgun now.
I'm gonna roll to this side. What do you think?
He's got 3 receivers split to the left. Drops straight back, looking, throws. Got number 9, Demetrius McGee. It's not going to be enough for a first down. And they're going no huddle.
McGee's the inside receiver on that ball, or that route, that play, and just runs a little out route. And Rochester, a straight drop back, completes the football, but barely enough for about 3-4 yards in that play.
They're going to run the clock down and then probably try a field goal. Yeah, they stop it. 1.8 seconds left here in the second quarter. And Rochester calls timeout. What do you think? Should they have tried to run one more play?
4th and long. Yeah, I would go try to get points on the board and again get back into under 3 scores now. So right now you're at down 21, and like I said, you got to try to establish some momentum. And while a field goal, for the Dragons, holding them to a field goal would be good defensively. Rochester's got to get some points up on the board.
So Dragons, sure they are. Dragons, the Falcons coming out. Number 2, Miles Dale, is the place kicker. Number 5, Jesse Farnsworth, is the holder. Ball's down, kick is up, partially blocked, no good. So we go to halftime. Dragons leading 28-7 over Rochester. Our scoreboard this half is brought to you by Wally Edgar Chevrolet at 3805 Lapeer Road in Lake Orion. Offering new and used vehicles to the Orion area since 1985, Wally Edgar Chevrolet, a proud supporter of ONTV and Dragon Athletics. You're watching exclusive coverage of Lake Orion Dragon football here on Orion Neighborhood Television. We'll be right back.
This quarter of play was underwritten by CJ's Lakeside Grill at 21 West Flint Street in downtown Lake Orion. Dine in or carry out. CJ's Lakeside Grill since 1997, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics. Halftime is underwritten by Oxford Bank at 60 South Washington in Oxford, locally owned and operated since 1884 with 9 locations throughout Oakland County, and by Wally Edgar Chevrolet at 3805 Lapeer Road in Lake Orion, offering new and used vehicles to the Orion area since 1985. Wally Edgar Chevrolet, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics.
Our recipients from the freshman class. Please welcome Lauren Thorne and Trey Warren. Lauren is the daughter of Nicole and Chris Thorne. She is a pre-professional ballet company and plays basketball. She is also going to be in the leadership class during 3rd term. Trey is the son of Bert and Veronica Warren. He's involved in the freshman football team, basketball, and bowling. Please welcome our freshman representatives, Trey Warren and Lauren Thorne. Please welcome our sophomore representatives tonight, Erica Madon and Peter Weglow. Erica is the daughter of Gino and Debbie Madon. She is involved with volleyball here at Lake Orion High School. Peter is the son of Mike and Stephanie. He is involved in the junior varsity football team and plays baseball here at LOHS. Please welcome Erica and Peter. Our junior couple tonight is Kristen Simpkins and Chloe Oster. Kristen is the daughter of Kirk and Lisa Simpkins. She is in the leadership development workshop at LOHS. Chloe is with his obligations with the varsity football team tonight. He is represented by his mother, Pat. And now for our senior court, the class of 2013 of Lake Orion High School. Please welcome our first couple, Kylie Bausch and Neil Donati. Kylie is the daughter of Richard and Lisa Bausch. She is involved in dance, television production workshop, and yearbook. After high school, she hopes to attend Michigan State University. Neil is the son of Paul and Beth. He is involved in television production workshop, and after high school, he plans on attending the University of Michigan or CMU. Please welcome Kylie and Neil. Our next couple is Hannah Weatherholt and Josh Meyer. Hannah is the daughter of Ryan and Billy Footy. She is involved in the marching band here at Lake Orion High School, is a member of the Detroit Civic Orchestra. After high school, she hopes to attend CMU to pursue a music performance major. Josh is the son of Mike and Pamela Meyer. He's involved in the marching band here at LOHS, a member of the National Honor Society, a member of the Oakland Blue Coats Drum and Bugle Corps. After high school, he hopes to attend the University of Alabama to pursue a double major in music education and music performance. Please welcome Josh and Hannah. Our next couple is Katie Cavalier and Ben Johannes. Katie is the daughter of Jim and Sally Cavalier. She's She's a member of the marching band, the basketball team, and a member of NHS. After high school, she hopes to attend Michigan State University and major in nursing. Ben is the son of Richard and Lily Johannes. Ben is a member of the marching band, a member of the ski team, and after high school, he hopes to attend the University of California, San Diego for a biomedical engineering degree. Please welcome Ben and Katie. Our next couple is Reagan Moran and Andre Bonneville. Reagan is the daughter of Karen and Greg Moran. She is involved in competitive dance, leadership development workshop, DECA, National Honor Society, and plays the piano. She hopes to attend Michigan State University in the fall. Andre is the son of Marilyn Morelli. Andre is a varsity soccer player, the vice president of the Leadership Development Workshop, and is involved in global outreach. Andre hopes to attend CMU. And our final couple tonight is Willow Kreitzer and Alex Schultz. Willow is the daughter of Gigi Kreitzer. She is involved in global outreach, leadership development workshop, as well as a member of the varsity lacrosse team. After high school, she hopes to have an adventure to attend college out of state. Alec is the son of Dean and Donna Schultz. Alec is in LDW, NHS, Global Outreach, and is a member of the varsity soccer team. He hopes to attend Grand Valley State University in the fall. Please welcome Alec and Willow. And if you turn to the right, we can welcome back to Dragon Field last year's 2012 Homecoming King and Queen, Amy Stubbs and Sean Charette. Amy is attending Michigan State University, and Sean is attending Grand Valley State University. Please give a warm Dragon welcome back to our alumni King and Queen, Amy and Sean. As they approach the crowd, let's give a warm thank you to the Leadership Development Workshop for tonight's activities. I know the team of kids has worked hard on this tonight, and I want to give a warm thank you to Mr. Mike Steele and the marching band as well. Amy and Sean, as you exit the car, please get ready to crown this year's King and Queen. Sean, it is my great honor and pleasure for you to crown this year's Homecoming King. Please crown Mr. Andre Bonneville. And Amy, it is my deep honor and pleasure for you to crown this year's Homecoming Queen, Miss Reagan Moran. Please begin your reign by entering the convertible and taking your first tour of Dragon Stadium as this year's 2012 Homecoming King and Queen.
Here, buddy. Let's go this way.
Halftime was brought to you by Oxford Bank at 60 South Washington in Oxford. Locally owned and operated since 1884 with 9 locations throughout Oakland County. and by Wally Eggers Chevrolet at 3805 Lapeer Road in Lake Orion, offering new and used vehicles to the Orion area since 1985. Wally Eggers Chevrolet, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Sports. This quarter of play is brought to you by City Grind Skate Park, offering year-round indoor skating and instruction. City Grind Skate Park, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics.
Just finishing up halftime Homecoming 2012. Dragons lead the Rochester Falcons 28-7. We'll remind you that our replays this season are once again brought to you by Jets Pizza. 2 convenient locations in the Orion area, Jets Pizza has been supporting ONTV since 2009. Chris, you got the halftime stats, and they're kind of probably not what we're used to seeing.
No, a little more balanced tonight on both sides of the ball, despite the score being 28-7. Lake Orion 9 first downs to Rochester's 10. Rushing yardage, Lake Orion 102, Rochester 93. Passing yards, Lake Orion 87, Rochester 53. Lake Orion, Derek DeLora was 3 of 6 for those 87 yards. Rochester passing 5 of 9 for those 53 yards. DeLora had the 1 interception. Number 10, John Durashowitz, had 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. Lake Orion's had just 2 penalties. Rochester, no penalties. Lake Orion had 2 fumbles, didn't lose 1. Rochester had the 1 fumble, stripped by Derek Williams, recovered by Nick Booker. Individually, Lake Orion, Jacob Miller leads with 15 attempts, rushing attempts, 57 yards. Zach Arnold, one attempt for 9 yards. Corey Esther, 4 of 12. Chris Lee, 2 of 10. And Jordan Waymer, 3 of 14 on the ground. Receiving-wise, Corey Esther had 2 receptions. The big 40-plus yard reception, 75 yards. And then Jeremy King, 1 reception for 12 yards. For the Falcons, passing, John Durashowitz, 5 of 9, 53 yards. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He's got 2 carries, 1 yard. James Ward leads the Falcons at halftime, 13 carries, 59 yards. Number 45, Lucas Dissinger, 7 carries, 31 yards. Reception-wise, Manny Mendoza, 2 receptions, 30 yards. Demetrius McGee, 2 for 9. And then number 15, Peter Doucette, 1 for 14. So, yeah, you're right, pretty balanced statistically. But the big difference, obviously, and the most important difference is that score, 28-7, Lake Orion. But you know what, that being said, I don't know if I want to throw against the Lake Orion secondary the way they've been playing this year.
Referee Todd Kelly blows his whistle. Jeremy King puts a foot into it, down to about the 7-yard line. Picked up by number 5, that's Jesse Farnsworth, and he's out to about the 30-yard line, where Rochester will start out 1st and 10. I'm sure now, if you're Coach Bell, what's your message to your team at the half?
Stay consistent. Keep doing what we did in the first half. You know, they had the 1 turnover, and keep making plays. Keep. They got to get a little bit more penetration up front and close down the gaps inside on the tackles against Ward. But you contain him and you contain Mendoza, and they'll be in good shape.
Durashowitz back in that little pistol formation. Handoff up the middle, number 45, that's Luke Dissinger, and he gets maybe 2 yards. And I would imagine if you're Coach Vernon, you're telling your team, hey, we're not out of this yet. We moved the ball against this team. And, just keep doing what we're doing, and we can get back in this thing.
Yeah, you eliminate those 3 turnovers, which obviously you can't do now, but they had 3 turnovers in the first half, and they got to force those turnovers like they have in the first 5 games. They got to start doing that the second half. They want to get back into it.
2nd and 9, 2 wides for Rochester. Toss back to Ward. He's sweeping left. He's bottled up and dropped. Derek Williams hit him high and looked like number 62, Travis Hill, hit him low. No gain on the play.
You
See Derek Williams on the backside here, and he's so quick. The tackle blocks down, and they just pursuing, and ends up getting in on a play. Just fast and physical. He understands the game of football, and he's going to be he's only been a great athlete for the Dragons. He's going to be great at the next level too.
3rd down and 9 for the Falcons. Dorashowitz back to throw, looking, sweeping left, and he's caught and dropped by Nick White. Good solo tackle. That'll bring up 4th down. Nick White just pursued and brought him down from behind.
And the reason Dorashowitz is not able to get a ball thrown is because his receivers at each level were covered. All right, you had Doucette short, Mendoza intermediate, and you had number 9 McGee deep, and every single one of them was covered. So that's why he had to tuck it and run.
Jacob Miller back deep for the Dragons, rushed by the Dragons. Kick, fair catch called for by Jacob Miller, taken on about the 33-yard line, where the Dragons will start off 1st and 10. So Dragons take over, start in the full house backfield, tight formation. Hand to Jacob Miller around the right side. He's got a little hole and gets maybe 5 yards. 4. Bring up 2nd down. Looks like it's 5 from where they set the stick. Ball's on the 38-yard line. 2nd and 5. Just underway here in the second half. Dragons up 28-7. Full house formation again. Tight formation on the line. Miller again. He spun out of it. He's got a 1st down and more. And again, as a running back, you keep your feet moving and you can get out of some of those guys who are trying to arm tackle you.
Good things happen. You can't arm tackle Jacob Miller. And hopefully by now you've learned that. Just churn and churn. And the thing about spinning, it's very difficult to do. You spin and you got to maintain ball security and you got to keep your vision up and downfield. Jacob does a nice job of that.
Number 24, is that Chris Lee on the run? Yeah, 24, Chris Lee on the run. On that Jacob Miller run, Manny Mendoza was the one that tried to arm. He just stuck an arm out and Jacob just ran right through him. Chris Lee checks out. Zach Arnold checks in on a 2nd and 6 from the 48-yard line. They're in Rochester territory. Again with the full house backfield, tight formation. Handoff to Zach Arnold. He danced out of 1 tackle, got a gain of about 3. It'll bring up 3rd and 2.
Jacob White, number 31 for the Falcons, did a nice job of staying home, actually scraping off from his middle linebacker position and Luden keeping his head and eyes up and finding Zach Arnold for the tackle.
I think it was Shane Shadea on the tackle for Rochester. So 3rd and 2. Handoff Jacob Miller. He's close, but I don't think he's got the 1st down. Number 78, Brett Cunningham, was blocking well downfield. He was kind of taking Manny Mendoza into the end zone. So 4th down, 4th and a little over a yard. Jacob Miller, 2nd effort, 1st down. I think.
Boy, he was met.
He was met and stood up, and boy, it's going to be close. They're going to measure it. Yep, they're calling Rochester 1st down.
Here it is. Number 71. Schwan Shadea does a nice job of coming off his block and stopping Miller. That was impressive.
Yeah, it's one of the few times we've seen Jacob Miller get stood up. Rochester goes trips to the right, 2 wideouts to the left. Droshowitz in the empty backfield getting pressure. Down he goes. Nick White's in there. Connor Grant's in there. And a whole bunch of other people are in there.
Five wide receivers out and pass, or out for pass. The protection breaks down, and really it's because of what the secondary did. They didn't have anybody open downfield. Five wide look again, empty backfield.
Nick White and Travis Hill met at the quarterback. Quick pass out to Ward. Oh, that's not Ward, that's Demetrius McGee. And he's dropped after about 1.5 yard gain. They're going to call him down on the 40, just shy of the 44-yard line. You know, it's the old adage that coverage, good defensive coverage gets sacks, and good defensive pressure up front gets interceptions. So 3rd down and 9 from the 43, 5:50 left here in the 3rd quarter. Trips now to the left. Manny Mendoza, lone receiver, to the right. Low snap, pressure, down he goes. Number 15, Connor Grant, in again for the stop. Forces Rochester into a punting situation.
Connor Grant comes from middle linebacker position, untouched, and Droshowitz just didn't have anything. You know, the pocket was collapsing around, and then, oh, by the way, Connor Grant comes and cleans up and makes the play and forcing the Falcons to punt.
Yeah, number 62, Travis Hill, had 2 guys on him, and he came in and put the pressure on Droshowitz. Jacob Miller breaks tackles. He's up over midfield. He made the catch with 2 guys around him, made him miss, broke 2 tackles, and got up to midfield. 1st and 10 for the Dragons. And
I think he was a little mad from last time he got stood up on 4th and 1.
Corey Esther on the sweep. He's in the open. 20-10, touchdown Lake Orion Dragons.
Make a big play on special teams. All right, just like in the first half. Interception, go for the kill the next play. Make a big play, nice return on special teams. Go for the kill in the next play.
You want offensive efficiency? 1 play, 50 yards. Jeremy King again comes out for the point after. Nick Booker will hold. And that is Corey Esther just turned on the Jets. This ball's down, kick is up, and the kick is good. 4:48 left here in the 3rd. Dragons up 35-7. Number 9, Demetrius McGee, and number 6, James Ward, back deep for the Falcons. King puts a foot in it, high end over end kick, coming down on the 4 to McGee. He's up to the 15, 20, tries to reverse his field, and he's down over the 20 at about the 24-yard line. And back to Ward. He's jammed up and dropped. Number 21, Brandon Clements is in there. Number 30, Brennan York in there.
Number 62.
Met first by
Travis Hill fighting off that block and still maintaining the edge. And helped set the edge to force a negative carry.
That's that old one-handed tackle. He just stuck one big paw, his left hand out there and grabbed it.
You got to be physical and strong to do that.
2nd and 11 from the 11. Back to throw, going deep. Overthrows Mendoza, and number 3, Charlie Hyland, was with him step by step.
Just runs a simple streak go route, and Hyland sitting in perfect position on his inside pocket, and again, that's a ball that's got to be perfectly thrown. Mendoza was never ever able to get on top of Hyland to be able to box him out for that ball, and as a result, a 3rd and 11 come up for the Falcons.
Back to throw, looking, and he's sacked again, and the ball comes out. Dragons picked it up, and the umpire is calling incomplete pass. Charlie Hyland picked the ball up, but umpire Joe Denemy was right there on top of it.
Droshowitz back in the shotgun, gets a snap, and he's been feeling that pressure. And Connor Grant coming off the edge too, steps up in the pocket, and is that Brennan Rourke that came in and forced the incompletion? But you know what? We talked about in the first half about, I'll get back to it here in a second. We talked about in the first half about Lake Orion not being able to get that interior penetration. Well, guess what? They've changed. Things have turned around up front, and they're putting pressure on Droshowitz, probably knowing that they've got to throw. The Falcons have got to put the ball up in the air and throw to get back in this game, and so that allows the Dragons interior, that defensive line, and even they've been sending some backers to be able to tee off and get to the quarterback, and you know that's an advantage for the Dragons.
Yeah, twin receivers to the right. Corey Esther goes in motion, hand to Jacob Miller. He's through. Watch him run. Touchdown, Lake Orion Dragons. Again, offensive efficiency, 42 yards, 1 play. And we mentioned it in the first half, the Dragons were putting some pretty sustained drives together. This time they're right back into quick strike. So Jeremy King again on for the extra point. Nick Booker holding. Ball's down. Kick is up. Good job getting the ball down by Nick Booker. 3:34 left here in the third. Dragons up 42-7. Watch it again. Number 72, I think that's, Nick Sally got a great block and opened up the hole and had nothing but daylight.
Well, you look at the drive chart in the second half, 3 straight Rochester punts, and Lake Orion started the second half turnover on downs, but two plays, second half, 2 touchdowns.
I don't know if we'll be able to get our promo in. We'll get it in after the kickoff. So with a 35-point differential, we will now enforce the clock differential rule, or the point differential rule, as we explained last week and the week before that, and probably the week before that. With a 35 or more point differential, we have a running clock. Ball taken by Ward on the 5. He's up over the 20 and down at the, and it wasn't Ward because he's standing around.
Farnsworth.
Yeah, Farnsworth on the return. Droshowitz in that pistol formation. Back to throw. Got pressure from Derek Williams and throws incomplete. Intended for number 15, Pete Doucette.
Boy, they're really doing a nice job of providing penetration. You see Derek Williams coming off the edge from his outside linebacker spot. All right. Hesitates for a split second. Then he kind of dances his way towards the quarterback, making sure he's rushing the passer, yet keeping him in the pocket. and he forced an errant throw.
If you're that back, you got to at least try to get a shoulder block on somebody, because he just whiffed on, he never even tried with Derek Williams. Ward with the carry, and he's dropped number 30, Brennan Rourke, in on the tackle. You know, it's been a while since I'd played running back, but we were at least told, at least try to hold him up a little bit before you go out in your route. Minute and a half left here in the third.
Especially a guy like Derek Williams.
Absolutely. Ward back in the backfield. Back to throw, pressure. Got it to Doucette, and he's dropped immediately by Nick Booker. ONTV is now available on the web. Surf on over to our webpage at orionontv.org. There you can access locally produced on-demand games, talk shows, and news programs instantly. If you have a smart TV, you can watch ONTV in HD right on your TV set through your YouTube app. ONTV is also on Facebook. Be sure to like us to get recent links to your favorite ONTV programs. At the end of the third quarter, Lake Orion leads 42-7.
This quarter of play was brought to you by City Grind Skate Park, offering year-round indoor skating and instruction. City Grind Skate Park, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics. This quarter of play is underwritten by Meloche Palace Chrysler Jeep Ram. The Meloche family has been a part of the Orion community since 1951. On M24 and Silver Bell Road, Meloche's Palace Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics.
12 minutes to go, starting the fourth quarter on a running clock. Lake Orion up over the Rochester Falcons, 42-7. Dragons had the ball, 1st and 10 on their own 42. Bunch formation. Chris Lee gets the handoff, and he's up to the 45, where it'll be 2nd down for the Dragons. Number 55, Ryan Matinka on the tackle for Rochester. 2nd down and 8. Zach Arnold comes in motion, inside handoff up the middle. Dom Chiavisano. He's got a gain of about 2 to the 47-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down for the Dragons. Yeah, Rochester's possession in the second half, 3 and out punt, 3 and out punt, 3 and out punt, 3 and out punt. 3rd and 5 for the Dragons. Single setback. Zach Arnold in motion. Kyle Bell back to throw. Over the middle. Oh, went through Chris Lee's hand and almost caught by number 9, Brad Schanzer. Snap back to Schanzer. Kicks away, high kick and not very far. And they're going to mark the ball down about the Rochester 36-yard line. Number 43, Josh Sutton, in at a linebacker spot. Number 45 for Rochester, Luke Dissinger on the carry. And he got about 6 yards. Josh Sutton in on the tackle for the Dragons, along with number 21, Brandon Clements. So 2nd down and 5 for Rochester. Ball just on the 41. Dorshowitz. Manny Mendoza comes out, splits left. Number 9, Demetrius McGee, split to the right. Single back in the backfield. Ward, and that's not even Ward. Who was that? Was that 45 again?
Yep.
Yeah, 45, Dissinger on the carry. Droshowitz back to pass. Complete. Number 15, Doucette. And he's got a first down into Lake Orion territory at the 49-yard line.
Rochester's first down in the second half. And just run, Doucette little goes in motion on that wing, just runs out in the flat, and nice easy pitch and catch for the Falcons.
Number 4, Christian James on the tackle for the Dragons. 1st and 10. Inside Lake Orion territory at the 49. Double receivers to the right. Single back in the backfield. Droshowitz back to throw, getting pressure. Flag on the play, throws it away. Maybe holding against Rochester, we'll see. Holding against Rochester, that'll back them up 10. And if anything, it stops the clock for them with 6:01 left here in the 4th. Back to throw, throws, he's got number 9. He's got number 9 is Demetrius McGee, brought down by number 19 for the Dragons, Brad Chisholm.
McGee just comes from the far slot on a little crossing route, and this time Droshowitz feeling the backside pressure. But McGee throws a nice ball to McGee across the middle and lowers his head and gets a nice gain for the Falcons.
Droshowitz by himself in the shotgun, trips to the right, twins to the left. Back to throw, quick throw, caught by number 9.
Fumble.
Demetrius McGee, but they're going to call him down. They're calling him down.
I thought they were reacting like there was a fumble, but maybe not.
So it'll be 3rd down and about 7.
McGee just does a little sit-down route about 5 yards deep and catches the ball over the middle. And no, I guess he was just down, wasn't he?
So 3rd and 7 from the 46. Again, trips to the right, twins to the left. Getting pressure. Gets rid of the ball to McGee at the 40-yard line, and he's going to be short of the first down by about 2 yards. For other replay times that best fit your viewing schedule. 4th and 1 for the Falcons. Pass out here on the right flat to McGee, and he's got a first down. Droshowitz to McGee, and he's got a first down.
Yeah, you're just running that little, sit-down route, I call it, and just they're seeing McGee uncovered, so to speak. Nobody's walked off over him, and McGee turns around just to pass the line of scrimmage, and again allows him to do what he can do in open space.
Yeah, he gets the ball to him before really the Dragon defense has a chance. It's not that the coverage isn't there; they're just getting the ball out before they have a chance to get to it. They're calling it 2nd down and 1 from the 24-yard line. Again, they line up trips to the left, twins to the right. Droshowitz by himself in the backfield. Quick pass out to number 14, Eddie Alexander. He's got the first down on the 21-yard line. 2 minutes left here in the game. Droshowitz again by himself in the shotgun. Back looking pressure, and down he goes. Number 50, Bradley Check, got the sack. Pressure was put on by number 99, who I don't have on my program. Motion. Droshowitz hands number 40, Tyler Carton, on the carry.
Lord came up from his cornerback spot. Did a heck of a job.
Final seconds count away. The Dragons qualify again for the MHSAA playoffs. They're 6-0. Our final score, Lake Orion 42, Rochester 7. You're watching exclusive coverage of Lake Orion Dragon football here on Orion Neighborhood Television. We'll be right back.
This quarter of play was underwritten by Meloche Palace Chrysler Jeep Ram. The Meloche family has been a part of the Orion community since 1951. On M24 and Silver Bell Road, Meloche's Palace Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics.
Another homecoming victory for the Dragons this year, 42-7 over the Rochester Falcons. Chris, we talked about Lake Orion's ability to dominate, and where it was, again, a tale of two halves, but this time it was kind of a dragged out, a lot of long possession series for the Dragons, but then all of a sudden the big plays started coming, and they came one right after another. That's
the versatility this team has, and we've talked about it all year, the speed, the power. The first drive was a 13-play, 78-yard drive for a touchdown, and then you climb to the second half, and you got one play for 50 yards, touchdown, and the next drive, one play for 43 yards and a touchdown. And so you're right. Corey Yester had a big play that wasn't a touchdown for 40-some-odd yards from Derek DeLaura. And you're right, it's big play after big play, and the ability each and every week to eliminate mistakes. DeLaura threw the one interception tonight, but inside, outside, up the middle, they're very efficient, and through 6 weeks they've been very, very good.
I'm hoping we get a chance to ask Coach Bell this, but all right, you've cinched your playoff spot. You know that in 2 weeks you've got Lake Orion Clarkston. How easy is it to overlook Pontiac?
You can't. I mean, we talked about at the outset the playoff points and wanting home field advantage. Well, that's where all these things take shape. And the bottom line is they can't look past Pontiac. They've got to go in and do what they've done the last 6 weeks and play their game. They got to come out of that game healthy. And then after they watch film on that Saturday after Pontiac, well, actually in this case Sunday because they're playing on Saturday, then they can focus on the maize and blue of the Wolves.
The Dragons defense, again, made the adjustments they had to make, and I'm kind of keeping an eye out for Coach Bell walking over this way, but they made the adjustments they had to make in the second half, and as we said upstairs, it was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out.
Yeah, they did make some adjustments. They were doing some different stunting up front, it looked like, and providing a little bit more pressure on Derashowitz, and you're right, they were down 28-7 at half, and the ability for them to come back was contingent upon how well their passing game would be, and they started to put the ball up in the air, tried to put the ball up in the air. There was just too much penetration, and Derashowitz didn't have the time that he needed to get them back into the game.
Coach Bell starts his way over here. Yep. Coach, congratulations on another one.
Congratulations. Good job.
You.
Straight years to the playoffs, it never gets old, does it?
Not at all. You know what? And to be honest, the kids at the end, when the kids were coming down after shaking hands, they started chanting playoffs. And to be honest with you, it just finally clicked in. And to get 6 early, I mean, it takes a little bit off your shoulders. It's another goal they can check off. But the kids, we haven't been talking about that. They're so focused on one team, one game at a time that they realize, hey, you know what, we're in. So yeah, it's an awesome feeling. Good win against a very good team.
I thought you were up at 28-7 at halftime, and I didn't think there was as much penetration defensively that you were getting. It looked like Derashowitz was back there, had a little bit of time to throw. It looked like in the second half coming out, there was quite a bit more pressure, and Falcons had to put the ball up in the air to get back in the game, and I thought the defense did a nice job providing that pressure. Talk about what you may or may not have done at halftime to make adjustments, get a little bit more pressure on the Falcons, because they ended up in those first 4 drives were three plays and out.
Yeah. We turned it loose a little bit on defense. We're also doing a better job tackling. I mean, there were times that we had guys and we missed tackles because we were going too high. And just be a little bit more aggressive. I mean, we were there, and I think they brought a little bit more pressure in the second half too, knowing that we had them in those situations. So yeah, defensively, they played great in the second half.
Clarkston comes up in 2 weeks. We were talking about it earlier. You try not to, and I know I've known you long enough, we've known you long enough to know you won't let the team look past Pontiac, but is that a trap that's there?
We see them on film, and Pontiac's has some talent. They're struggling a little bit. our season, we've broken it down into thirds. You know, the first third was obviously Oxford, then going to Ford Field, and going on the road. Then the middle third was coming home, 3 straight road games, and now we begin the final third, the final push. You know, the next goal for these guys, their goal is a league championship. They know it can't happen, all right, without taking care of Pontiac. So that's a goal. It's got to go through Pontiac first, then we'll worry about Clarkston. So now our guys will be ready. Plus the opportunity to go to Wisner, one of the best stadiums around, to play Saturday afternoon game for Pontiac's homecoming. It's going to be a fun football game, so we'll be ready to go.
Coach, congratulations again. Thanks for the time.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Thank you.
So that's it from the field. The Dragons beat the Rochester Falcons 42-7. We'll be back in 2 weeks for Clarkston Lake Orion. Until then, for our producer director Ian Locke, our entire ONTV crew, my broadcast partner Chris Fritching, I'm Doug Corliss. Good night, everyone.